As NASA prepares for a return to human spaceflight, there is a need for contingency planning in the event of a rescue scenario. It is the United States Air Force's 45th Space Wing's Detachment 3 Human Spaceflight Support Office who gets the call to organize that effort. And they tap the elite warriors of the Guardian Angel community, comprised of combat rescue officers and pararescuemen. Their paramedic level skill set, along with their ability to insert anywhere around the world, in any environment, under any conditions, makes them the team of choice.
It's great to be working with NASA again on this historic mission and the great support team that we have, including the Hawaii Air National Guard C-17s out of the 154th Air Wing. We also have the 45th Ops Group and the 88th Test supporting us, as well as Marine Corps Base K-Bay, allowing us the flexibility for both jump and water work as we create the tactics, techniques, and procedures necessary to advance forward to the future of manned spaceflight.
Anything that NASA needs from the Department of Defense, resource-wise, to conduct their human spaceflight missions, they go through us. So they knock on our door and say, hey, we're doing this human spaceflight mission, whatever it is, and we can't do X, Y, and Z with anyone else. There's no commercial equipment or resources out there that we could go contract with. The DoD has these unique capabilities. We'd like to use them in whatever capacity. And at the DET, we say, okay, we look at that and we go out to the larger DoD and figure out what resources the DoD has that can be able to accomplish that request. And then we go back to them and we just start coordinating. And the unit's really unique because it does all aspects of it. So it takes that request, it coordinates it. Once we have a kind of a plan in place for how we're going to use the resources, we plan that out, and then we train the forces that are going to be participating, and then we execute the mission. Those resources could come from anywhere. It's a total force. You know, we pull from active duty, we pull from Guard, we pull from reserves. For the commercial crew program, which is what I'm the division chief of, right now we're in the kind of the planning phase. We're just about to get into the execution phase. So during that planning phase, we're relying on the pararescue community. That's the main, the Guardian Angel weapon system, the PJs, are kind of the force that has been chosen as the main rescue force for our mission. So right now we're working with that community as a whole, and we have here at Sentry Aloha, we have the 88th Test and Evaluation Squadron, and they're the Guardian Angel test unit, and they're pulling from the experience from the 106 Rescue Wing, the New York Air National Guard, and then we're also using the C-17s here in Hawaii, the Hawaii Air National Guard, to conduct this exercise to practice these techniques and procedures that are going to apply to the rescue mission for NASA.
We're Detachment 3, 45th Operations Group out of Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. We're the Department of Defense's Human Spaceflight Support Office. Operationally, we fall under the commander of U.S. STRATCOM. Administratively, we fall under the Air Force Space Command. With us is the 88th Test and Evaluation Squadron out of Nellis Air Force Base. Additionally, we have our NASA individual with us, is a NASA Neutral Buoyancy Lab, who builds all the equipment that our guys are going to be working with and jumping with that you'll be seeing. We also have the Hawaii Air National Guard 154th Wing and all of the support element, the PA and the facilities and the airframes and the air crews that have been supporting this operation. And then finally, the only reason why we're here is because of the New York Air National Guard 106 Rescue Wing. Without this Sentry Aloha operation that you guys had set up initially, we wouldn't be here doing this initial historic event.
The key thing that I'm looking to get from this operation from the New York Air National Guard is their expertise in rescue, in open water environments, in closed space environments, high angle rescue, things like that, swift water rescue. I don't bring that expertise to the table. NASA doesn't currently have a lot of that expertise in my branch where we're developing a lot of this hardware. So what I'm doing, I'm exposing those folks to the hardware and the operations that I want to see them do in the future and get their feedback now during my prototype. So by the time I give them version 2 or 3 or the actual flight version of the GSE, these folks have had, from day one, they've had the input to make the recommended changes and modifications, either adds or takeaways, features or mechanisms. So when they get the real hardware on the actual day, it's the hardware they've helped develop, they've tested, they've trained, and they've practiced on.
The Sentry Aloha exercise presented a window of opportunity, allowing guardsmen of both the 103rd Rescue Squadron of the New York Air National Guard's 106th Rescue Wing and the Hawaii Air National Guard's 154th Wing 204th Flying Squadron to fold in testing of NASA's ground support equipment.
As rescue specialists, we have a capability to perform an open ocean search and rescue mission. We're going to deploy from a C-17 aircraft with our hard duck configured boats. We're going to make our way over to the space vehicle where we're going to render aid if necessary to the astronauts. We're going to stay there with the astronauts until other rescue assets are on scene, and then we will bring those astronauts home.
Historically, human spaceflight in the U.S. has fallen completely under the NASA umbrella. They've been responsible for all of it. And now we've got these two commercial companies that are responsible. So you've got NASA, historically a very conservative, science-focused organization, and you've got the commercial companies with possibly different motivations. You know, they're trying to be innovative. They're making use of technology. They're motivated to keep costs down. When you combine those two things together, it can pose challenges, but it's also really exciting.
Time being our enemy is working out the bugs with this GSC, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and then making those corrections, not just with the equipment itself that is going to interact with the capsule, but how that equipment itself interacts with the deployment process. And if there's any problems along the way, that slows us down, because then we have to go back to the drawing board and do events like this again. So time is our enemy. That's the biggest challenge, is getting it all done in time to be mission ready for that very first launch.
As we've been developing these TTPs, the New York Air National Guard guys have stepped up and provided us the OT testers with the 103rd Rescue Squadron supporting this mission and how we're going to recover the commercial crew astronauts and the Orion aircraft. Having like Det-3 NASA personnel, having an active duty operational test unit, having a guard unit from New York, having a Hawaii C-17 crew, I think having all that kind of stuff integrated for one exercise and to help one mission, that's very rare, what I've seen. In a lot of our tests that we've done in the past, usually it's just active duty, kind of working with active duty, or just the guard guys and active duty sometimes paired up, but have this many assets and this many different organizations come together for the same goal is a really good experience for all of us.
The New York and Hawaii Air National Guard, from Air Combat Command and Air Mobility Command, teamed up with active duty pararescuemen who were present from the 88th Test and Evaluation Squadron to conduct this first-time historic training. As the New York Airmen jumped the NASA equipment packed in their boats out of the Hawaii C-17 Globemasters that provided the space, speed, and reach to carry out the operations.
I think one of the biggest pride things we take away from this is the historical implications that this has. PJs have been doing this mission, like I said, for years, decades. Decades prior to us have been doing the TAL sites and doing this NASA mission support. And to see the NASA program evolve into commercial crew and seeing how it's taking on 3 different capsules instead of 1, and our career fields coming together and establishing TTPs to keep us engaged with everything else going on in the world, being able to support the NASA guys, and that mission is a sense of pride that I think all guys enjoy. So.